What's going on, Jerome's? Today is the day. The full squadron is at TCO Performance Center Bar and Grill. They're going to get it on, even though, no contact, no full pads until next week, but it's fine. Football and football-related activities are back, baby. So the Vikings are on a quest to hoist that Jerome Bardi at the end of the season. We're going to take a look at the Vikings' current 90-man rooster and talk about who we like, who could step up, and who could be the sleepers, and who also potentially could be the Earl of Eagan or Mr. Mankato. Bah. So let's get into it. Starting at the top, quarterback Kirkua Cousins. It is his team this year, probably be his team next year. And with everything around him, the improved offensive line, you still have Dalvin Cook, a top 2 running back in this game. Justin friggin' Jefferson, quickly becoming one of the best wide receivers in the game. Thielen, and now D.D. Westbrook. You saw what Kirk has been able to do with a speed, one-trick pony wide receiver. Look at Aldrick Robinson. Look at Deshaun Jackson. And also Irv Smith Jr. and Tyler Gronklin really stepping up as a nice pair of tight end pass catchers. And this play caller could potentially open things up with Clint Kubiak, who's been his quarterback's coach for the last 2 years. So everything is set. Everything is perfect for Kirk Cousins. And if he doesn't get it done this year, yeah. And then you have Kellen Mond. I think Mond eventually will win the QB2 job, even though Jake Browning did look pretty good at OTAs. Maybe that carries over into training camp. I know that Gary Kubiak last year was very high on the now third-year pro out of Washington. So maybe that does translate over to Clint Kubiak as well. Andrew Janako is the new quarterback's coach. He's been able to see Jake Browning up close the last couple years since Janako's been various roles on the offensive staff. So maybe it's Browning at 2, maybe Kellen Mond, the third-round pick from Texas A&M. He's got a lot of upside. He's got some downside. He just needs to work on consistency. Maybe they would feel comfortable with having a third-year guy in Jake Browning be the QB2 just in case, knock on wood, there's an alien abduction. But I think that Mond will certainly make the roster because he ain't getting down on the practice squad. Nate Stanley, last year's 7th-round pick out of Iowa. Big-time arm. I don't know. I prefer Jake Browning, but we'll see. Running backs wise, you got Dalvin Cook at the top. His main issue has been staying healthy. He hasn't played a full 16-game season. Will he play 16 games in the new 17-game season? I don't know. But Dalvin last year showed how he can operate, man. Made the Pro Bowl. Should have been second-team All-Pro, but the Vikings gave up a 7-pack to Kamara on Christmas, which just is devastating, man. But Dalvin is still a premier talent. Plus, unfortunately, he lost his father towards the end of last season. This is going to be the first year without him, and I think Dalvin is going to run like a man possessed. I think that he is going to dedicate this year to his father. I think that he's going to blow the doors off the roof. The Vikings are still a run-first team, and that's easy to do when you have Dalvin Cook. Almost when you have Alexander Madison. So Madison, the third-year former third-round pick out of Boise State. I like him as a short yardage guy, even though, can we just pick up a yard against Seattle, man? Can we just do that? But Madison has also had his health issues, hasn't played a full season his first 2 years. But I do think that Madison, as well as rookie Kenya Nwangu, could be a really nice 1-2 combination behind Dalvin Cook. Madison, more of the inside zone, short yardage guy. Kenya Nwangu, outside zone, long strider speed for days. Once he gets into the open field and just hits those long strides, like, it doesn't look like he's running that fast, but he's jets. He jets, man. Amir Abdullah, the veteran, solid kick returner as well as a third down back. But I think Nwangu and ISM, the rookie wide receiver from Iowa, would have the inside track for being the Vikings kick returner. So, I mean, this could be a spot where the Vikings maybe let Abdullah go. Maybe he's on the practice squad. Go ahead. AJ Rose, UDFA out of Memphis, I want to say. Nailed it. Fullback, C.J. Ham, of course, the more important of the two backs. That's right. C.J. Ham, one of the best fullbacks in the game for my money. Also, you have Jake Vargas, who was on IR last year. And the Vikings have always liked a bit of a farm system when it comes to the fullback spot. You'll go back to Jerome Felton and then also Zach Line and then eventually C.J. Ham. So they always like the next guy up mentality since fullback. The Vikings are one of the handful of teams that still use a fullback consistently around the league. As well as if you do carry 2 fullbacks on the roster, one of them is going to be a pretty significant contributor on special teams. Plus, remember the Vikings had Kari Blasingame out of Vanderbilt, who's now Derrick Henry's fullback with the Tennessee Titans. Would have been nice to have him, but also, what are you going to do? Play 2 fullbacks? Damn right. Full house backfield. Bring it. Wide receivers. So you got Justin friggin' Jefferson, Adam Thielen, the top wide receiver duo in the National Football League. Plus, now you're adding D.D. Westbrook, baby. I love it. Where D.D., he was a bad man at Oklahoma. He was never going to be a wide receiver 1 or 2 in this league, but as a slot, as a specifically vertical stretching element for the offense, yes, he can do that. He can absolutely do that. He also has the most punt return experience of anyone on the roster. So I like him in that regard as well. And you could say, well, you're just pouring cold water on all the other guys. No, like adding Dede, I mean, he has not promised a damn thing. He's got to earn everything. And this does not mean that BC Johnson and rookie Amir Smith-Marset or Chad Beebe or Dan Chisena or UDFA's Blake Prohl, Wap Filior, Myron Mitchell, or also last year's 5th-round pick KJ Osborne, who Spielman and Zimmer individually pumped up unprompted, by the way. It doesn't mean that they can't make an impact. But iron sharpens iron. More competition is good for everyone, so bring it. So right now, I would pencil Dede in as wide receiver 3, but I mean, it wouldn't shock me if someone else just really stepped up their game and got after it. Also in this receiver group, so they got Irv, Gronklin, Brandon Dillon, Zach Davidson, and Shane Zylstra. The Vikings are super deep at tight end. Even though they got rid of Kyle Rudolph, the cupboard is certainly not bare. I think that Irv is ready to step up year 3 as a tight end 1. Plus, Gronklin last year really did step up as a nice tight end 2, tight end 3 option because he was able to get some time in where Kyle Rudolph was more inline blocking. Irv Smith missed some time with the groin injury, and Gronklin really got things done. So I really do like him as he heads into the final year of his rookie deal. Offensive line. So Christian Darrisaw, 1st-round pick, 23 overall, going to be your future franchise left tackle. Ezra Cleveland is now entrenched at left guard. That's going to be a spot long time. I'm okay with it. I am okay with it since you did bring in a guy like Christian Darrisaw, but we'll see what happens with the groin. Zimmer says that he's moving around fine. They are going to take it super slow, so I wouldn't be shocked if veteran Rashad Hill does start at left tackle for the first couple weeks of the season, similar to when Rashad Hill started the beginning of 2018 before eventually he gave way to Brian O'Neill, who came in a right tackle. By the way, pay Brian O'Neill. Give him all the monies right now. And then also you have 3rd-round pick Wyatt Davis no matter what. Now, the fact that Rick Dennison is now sort of out of power because he got promoted, but Phil Raucher's up in the building. So now it's an open competition where I don't think Dakota Doja will have a leg to stand on in this competition. If it comes down to pure skill, Wyatt Davis has that. I think he's got a much higher ceiling than any of the other guards on the roster. Well, close with Ezra, but stylistically two different types of guards. So just having some continuity along the offensive line and size could greatly benefit a guy like Garrett Bradbury, the undersized but very smart, very heady, good leader center, the man at the pivot in purple. So eventually, the offensive line will be Darrisaw, Ezra, Bradbury, Davis, and O'Neill. To start the season will be it. I don't know. It really depends on Darrisaw's groin, but I do think that 80% of the offensive line will be locked up week 1 for Cincinnati. And then depth-wise, so you got Mason Cole, who's like your new age Brett Jones. He has started 2 seasons around the league, 1 at left guard, 1 at center for the Cardinals, but, you know, Rodney Hudson was clearly an upgrade when they traded for him from the Raiders. So getting him for a 6th-round pick, that's fine. It's fine. Does he contend for a starting spot? I know that Paul Allen had mentioned that he could see Mason Cole starting over Wyatt Davis. I don't particularly see that happening, but we'll see. Rashad Hill's a good backup. Oli Udo, the 3rd-year pro, formerly out of Elan. He's looked good at spurts whenever he's been able to get on the field, all in preseason as well as Week 17 exhibition games. He's looked good, but it might just be a spot of musical chairs where there's just not enough seats. I don't know. Drew Samia is also a thing who's there. Emma Cazarzak, who's a 2020 UDFA out of Buffalo, impressed at rookie camp where he had a tryout. He's now in the 90-man. I think that he's got a good shot to make the practice squad. Kyle Hinton, 7th-round pick last year out of Washburn. They've been working with him inside. Was a left tackle by trade for the Washburn Ichabods. Been playing guard. There have been some talk about using him at center. I do like him long term, but I mean, you're not going to pass up on Wyatt Davis because you have Kyle Hinton. Like, you can have both. Why the hell not? Blake Brandel was a 2026-round pick. He was a left tackle by trade out of Oregon State. But then working with him at center throughout OTAs. We'll see if that holds up in training camp. And then to the defense. We have the meats, baby. So inside out. You got Michael Pierce, got the calf injury. He's going to be up on blocks for a couple weeks. That's no big deal. He'll be fine. Diesel Dalvin Tomlinson, Sheldon Richardson, Armand for Watts. And this is going to be tough. Like, there's going to be some tough decisions being made where you could see a guy like Herc or James Lynch not make this 53-man roster, which would kind of suck. Jalen Twyman, who was shot 4 times the offseason, now officially on NFI, so he'll miss the first 8 games of the season. Maybe he'll miss the entire season, but the Vikings retain his rights. He'll get paid out his full salary. He'll have a chance to really get acclimated to what it's like to be a pro's pro. And also, You know, a month removed from 4 gunshot wounds. I love the heart, but he's probably not 100%. So this gives him a better shot for next year. And then the edge, you got the return of the king, Danielle Hunter. He's back. He's motivated on the 1-year deal. Go get it done, son. Make sure that the herniated disc is no issue. And then opposite edge rusher, you have Steve Weatherly, DJ Wanham. I think that initially they will split some reps. And then you will see young guys like Patrick Jones II, Janaris Robinson getting some reps as well. Kenny Willekes, Jordan Brailford, 2 guys that have potential, as well as so Jalen Holmes, 4th-year guy, former 4th-round pick out of the Ohio State University. I don't know. Linebackers. So it's linebacker is a 2-man show. So you got Anthony Barr, you have Eric Kendricks, and that's really about it. He did sign veteran Nick Vigil, who's more of an inside linebacker, plays some special teams, formerly of the Bengals, formerly of the Chargers. You got Chaz Serrat. Remember, it was a very high draft pick. And I think that Serrat eventually could be the guy that's worked in. A little bit older of a rookie at 24 years young, but he's a stellar athlete. He's only played 2 years of linebacker. He's still learning the position. I think that learning from a guy like Eric Kendricks as well as Anthony Barr could really do him a lot of good. Ryan Connolly, former pickup from the Giants, coming back from a torn ACL from 2 years ago for the Pride of Eden Prairie. Maybe he makes the practice squad. Maybe he competes in there. Troy Dye, 4th-round pick last year out of Oregon. Good in coverage, not so much at the point of attack. He did get an opportunity for some run last year and was very meh. Cameron Smith coming back from open heart surgery. A lot of really good comeback stories on this roster. Blake Lynch. So Blake Lynch's athletic upside really intrigues me. I almost would move him to safety. I would consider it. Christian Ellis, edge rusher, son of Luther Ellis, formerly of the Idaho Vandals, is intriguing as well in terms of if you just want like a stand-up outside linebacker on the edge, he would be that guy. And then Tuff Borland. So not an athletic wonder at all in terms of what you're looking for in the National Football League, but he does live up to his name. He's a tough guy. I think that he will live up to his nickname and his moniker. So maybe he makes a push for the practice squad. Maybe. His cornerback room. So this one's up in the air. Where you got Cameron Tiny Dancer year 2. Hopefully he can stay healthy. Patrick Peterson, does he have a little bit left in the tank? Mac Alexander work from the side. He's going to be good to go there. Bashard Breeland coming in from the Chiefs. He's got that Super Bowl pedigree and a guy who's been a solid rotational / starter throughout this league for a number of years. Harrison Hand, last year's 5th-round pick, who I think has a ton of potential. Who knows what's going to happen with Jeff Gladney? As the grand jury is going to convene in a couple of days here. Then you have guys like Chris Boyd and veterans Ty Smith and Perry Nickerson and Dylan Mabin hanging out. Plus you have Amari Henderson, who was a rookie tryout during camp, during rookie camp this year, impressed enough to make the roster. Maybe he does push for a practice squad spot. It does have the size and ability and agility to play both cornerback and safety, so that's intriguing. And then, of course, you have the ageless wonder Harrison Smith doing things back there. Xavier Woods. So Xavier Woods was solid his first couple years of the Cowboys. Last year, Dallas was a mess on defense. Mike Nolan's squad was just atrocious. Xavier Woods got a lot of the blame. You just look at comments from Cowboys fans. But I think that with a solid pass rush in front of him, working in a secondary that has a lot of solid veterans as well as Harrison Smith, yeah, I think Xavier Woods could rebound and become the ball hawk that he was supposed to be. Cameron Bynum, the mid-round pick, former cornerback from Cal, is going to work in at safety. Josh Metellus, last year's 6th-round pick from Michigan, got some time last year. A little bit of deer in headlights look, but of course, rookies last year were behind the 8 ball because no rookie camp, no OTAs, no preseason games, etc. Then you also have Miles Dorn and Luther Kirk, 2 UDFAs at safety from last year. And so specialists. So you do have Greg Joseph, the journeyman who's on the Bucs practice squad last year. He probably gets a ring, right? I imagine he does. Those things are pretty sweet, but I think a lot of guys are going to lose the screw tops. Anyway, so Greg Joseph does have the inside track now, because Riley Patterson has been dealing with injuries. He missed a couple weeks of OTAs, and still, whatever kicker injuries are, I don't know. But Joseph should be your week 1 starting kicker. I think they'll keep Patterson maybe on the practice squad. Maybe they pup him. Those would have to be in. We'll look later. Britton Skolquit, he's only punter on the roster. They did have Zach Von Rosenberg for a hot second during the offseason, but Skolquit is aging out. Last year, all of his key stats were down in the punting game, but also some of that could have been coverage units. Mauro Maloof was not too great last year. Long snapper Andrew DePaulo, who bailed the Vikings out of the Austin Cutting debacle, although he's at 35 or 36. He's up there in age. Turner Bernard is coming in from San Diego State University. Maybe he overtakes the veteran. But either way, just get something done. Don't have special teams kick us in the nuts because, I mean, this team is stacked. top 5 offense, top 5 defense, and let's roll, baby. Let's roll. But your thoughts on our thoughts. That's a look at the Vikings roster as training camp commences today. Let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support that work post on the Venmo. But until next time, Skol, production value.